Now that the shed is up, it is time to get this electrical done. So I will rough in all the wires myself, and then I've got an electrician coming in and he is going to plug everything in and make sure it all works. So I'll run the cables first, and then we're going to have to sheet all the walls, and then I'll fit off all the power points and everything, and then it'll be all checked by the electrician, and he will then hook it up to the main junction box up by the house, which is about 50 odd meters away. So if you do not know what you're doing, do not attempt any electrical work yourself. Get a licensed electrician in and get him to do the job. But roughing in the wires is pretty easy as long as you know what you're doing and where everything is going. So I pre-plan everything before you actually start, so you know where every light, power point and light switch are going to be, and it'll make the job so much easier. So I ran about 400 meters of cabling here, and everything is led back to one single junction box right there where all the cables are meeting up. And I made sure I labeled absolutely everything at both ends of the cable, at the junction box, and also where the outlets are going to be. One bit of advice I can give: if you're building a workshop here in Australia, make sure you put in as many 15 amp power outlets as you can. So with 15 amp, you can only have one power point on each fuse. So that means every single power point of 15 amp has to have its own separate cable. So it can get a bit pricey and take a lot longer, and you've got a lot more wiring in your walls. And the 15 amp is definitely worth it because you find a lot of machines are the 15 amp motors. And if you're lucky enough to have three-phase power on your property, make sure you get that all wired up because you can get some great deals on three-phase equipment. And the next stage is lining all the walls. So you would have seen the video a while ago of me doing that and then bringing all the cables through. So at this stage there is no live electricity at all to any of these points, and the lights are just running off a extension cable coming from a different shed. And here's the tedious task of wiring in all the power points. So with 32 240 volt power points and 6 15 amp power points. I decided to go with high bay lights through the center of the shed. They were pretty inexpensive, just bought them off eBay, and I went for the really good LED fluoro lights all around the perimeter, because with the high bay lights they do light up the shed and you can see everything you're doing, but they do produce a lot of downward shadow, so the fluoro lights just fill in all the gaps of the lighting. So I went all down one side where all the tools and equipment are going to be, and then on the opposite side I just put a couple on where the storage is going to be. And now it's time for the electrician to come in and work his magic. He checked everything I've done and he found no problems at all. And there's a Sparky just wiring up the fuse box and wiring in all the fuses. We had to take a few of the sheets off near the fuse box just to be able to get all the wires in there neatly because there was so many of them. And the final thing to do was just to wire in 4 floodlights around the side of the shed. And then the electrician just had to wire up everything to the main meter box up by the house. And finally we have power. Couldn't be any more happier with it. It has come out really, really well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and lay a comment and tell us what sort of lighting you have done in your workshop or shed. So we'll see you on the next video.